Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is yearning ever, home where the old folks stay. Home where the old folks stay.
Welcome to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast with Gregg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, and Kaylee on this special episode. We are here at the historic Polk Theater in Lakeland, Florida, and we just took an amazing tour of the building.
Amazingly scary tour.
We learned all about the history and
oddly spooky.
The ghosts who haunt this place. Kaylee, say hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Back.
We love everything that LAL does for our city and for Central Florida. There's such a force in media here. And so I think what we're going to do, since we are here kind of on location, it's about midnight.
On stage.
Yeah, we're on stage.
Things are feeling
Center
really
stage,
spooky.
they call
Huge
it,
theater,
right?
ghosts everywhere probably.
Yeah, sitting next to us, across from us.
Oh, what was no?
Oh, God. Ooh, I saw it too.
But we're going to go ahead and keep tradition and jump into some headlines.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Okay, Florida man, fueled by drugs, arrested after chasing ghosts with a machete.
I don't think you have to say fueled by drugs after you say Florida man. It's
At
implied.
this point, everybody just assumes.
Yeah.
He was
So,
chasing ghosts with a machete.
He was chasing ghosts with a machete.
Okay.
So Jonathan Ponce, 31-year-old, took Molly with his 26-year-old girlfriend, Megan, which can be confusing.
Nice.
Right.
Molly
Yeah.
or Megan?
Megan
Yeah.
was a girlfriend.
Okay.
Molly was a drug. Okay.
Crystal
Happened in Deltona, not Daytona. Way less cool than Daytona.
Okay, hello, fighting words.
Jonathan had a bad reaction to the drug and basically was convinced that his house was haunted, which obviously he had to do something about. So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
starts running around the house, swinging a machete to fight off the ghosts.
What's the crime?
Yeah, what is the crime? First things first.
All right, here's the crime. Glad you asked.
Okay.
This freaked out his girlfriend, so she ran off out of the house and down the street. He did the same thing after, still swinging at
Yeah.
ghosts,
Good man. He must have got him.
but they left their 6-year-old
Okay.
and 8-month-old child behind
Good God.
in the house, and they were both arrested for child neglect.
No.
Yeah,
When
good.
you buy drugs, there's a warning label.
Yeah.
And it says, lock up your machete and find a babysitter.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. If he had a machete, what was he? How can you get the ghost with a machete?
Have you never
If it
seen
goes-
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
They don't have a machete in Ghostbusters?
Yeah, that's what they pull out of their backpack.
Yeah.
It's machetes.
Sounds super dangerous.
A little
No,
bit.
it turned out okay for
the
everybody.
ghosts, it's definitely dangerous.
So they both went to jail.
Yeah, they were both arrested for child neglect.
Okay, good.
So not ghost hunting,
No.
or
wielding of a
dangerous weapon.
Yeah.
A jungle weapon. Okay, next headline.
I hope it's got a jungle weapon in it also.
No, it's scarier than ghosts, though.
Oof.
So Florida grandma
I'm scared.
takes out her dentures to scare off a naked intruder.
I think this was
Okay.
my mom.
Come again? Come again?
Congrats.
Penelope Peterson from Titusville
Sounds cute.
had a unusual wake-up call around 2 a.m. She basically heard weird noises from her back porch.
Okay.
And so when she opened the blinds, she found a man, Alex Rivera, taking off his clothes and gyrating in a lewd manner
Okay.
toward her.
Okay.
So, yeah, a little creepy.
No.
Penelope
Standard
said
practice.
her first thought was, what the blank? That's not my cat.
What?
Oh my.
This wasn't the Villages, right?
No.
Okay.
Titusville.
Oh, no. Titusville?
Penelope used to work in security and law enforcement, so she said she's used to taking matter into her own hands.
Yes.
So she quickly popped out her dentures and yelled, "Grandma, no teeth."
What? Okay. All right.
What a line.
This isn't a real story.
In quotes, "Grandma, no teeth." So
We asked
apparently,
you to bring real stories.
this is a real story.
Just not real teeth.
So why the background where we get her whole history in security?
I think she was just trying to say, like, it didn't scare me off. I'm not going to run away from it.
And
I'm going to find a way to...
I'm going to use my training here.
I have training in dentures.
Did it work? Did he run away?
Yeah, so the craziness worked. Rivera ran off, still naked at
So
this
he
point.
was only in it for the teeth.
Yeah. The cops later found Rivera naked in a parking lot, and he told police that he basically lost his clothes, or his clothes were stolen.
Yeah. Oh, man. I hate that.
And police said there was definitely alcohol involved. So,
Yeah.
so the
Okay.
denture trick worked.
Wow. I'll consider that.
You hear a creepy noise in the
Yep.
middle of the night, you go towards it, denture's ready.
Well,
you're good to go.
gyration.
Yeah.
I assume the gyration is what whipped his clothes off.
Yep. I
If
think
you
so.
start gyrating fast enough,
They automatically fall off.
the clothes
That's
can't
true.
hang on to.
Same thing with your dentures. You gyrate enough, those dentures are popping out.
They're popping right out.
Then you go, Cameron, no teeth.
So the reason why we are here is we were able to take place in a really amazing kind of VIP experience tour behind the scenes. Like I said, it's close to midnight, and it has been just kind of a fantastic 3 hours.
Probably one of the most amazing
Yeah,
experiences.
honestly, it was
Absolutely.
incredible.
Some of these rooms you walk into, and it's like you're stepping back into time. I mean, it's fascinating. Just the building itself is incredibly old, and the history is super fascinating. And we've got Kaylee here. We mentioned it earlier in the show. She's from LAL, and they are a media organization here in Florida. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the history of the Polk Theater, and then we're going to kind of segue into some of the spookier stuff. So, Kaylee, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I mean, this tour was amazing, just
Right, yeah.
mind-blowing in general. And we could talk all day about like this magnificent architecture in here and everything. But here are just like a couple of the fast facts like about the Polk Theater. So it was built during the Golden Age, during 1928,
Okay.
actually.
Nice.
And in its early years, actually on opening day, the matinee sold out within an hour of the box office's opening.
What?
That's fantastic.
I don't know
So
what
cool.
movie was playing, but it had to be a goodie.
And that has to filter everybody through the line.
Yeah.
yeah,
mean,
that's
Probably-
true.
They weren't
Probably
buying
one
it
of those
on.
Transformers movies.
Yeah.
Definitely one of them.
in 1928, right?
Yeah.
James
for
Cameron
sure.
flick.
Great CGI.
Yeah, and so also like in the early years too, the air conditioning system, because it was the only place in Polk County that had AC. Yeah,
Bless them.
yeah, in Florida. It used so much power that it caused all the lights to dim across town when it was
Okay.
turned on.
Well, that's kind of braggy. Of
Yeah,
them.
so everyone in their house, when their lights would dim, they'd be, turn the air on down there at
Yeah.
the theater.
Yeah. cool.
Good advertisement.
Those
really,
guys,
very
yeah.
smart.
Everybody's
very
enjoying
clever.
themselves.
But if you wanted to cool off, this was a place to be.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of the experience, right? You come, it's air conditioning, you see a movie. I mean, it's this whole thing.
Yeah, and we heard from the experts tonight. Like, I mean, the sky itself, it made it a whole experience.
Right.
If you look up there too, the light fixtures in the sky, they're the originals, like from the 20s, and no one is entirely sure like why they blink how they do.
It's incredible. So if you can see when you're inside the theater, the ceiling looks like the sky.
Yes.
It's got these kind of like randomly sparkling lights, and like Kaylee was saying, no one knows why they do that. It just
It's beautiful.
They sparkle.
It is.
yeah,
It's
it's,
magic.
it's fantastic. Yeah, it is.
And during the 60s and the 70s, like the theater faced the possibility of shutting down, actually.
What?
But in classic Lakelander
All right.
philanthropic tradition, they borrowed money and there was a state grant, and it was just saved by Lakelanders who didn't want to
That's
see
right.
the theater go.
They wanted that AC.
Yeah.
I mean, really, though, let's be real.
They're like the only AC though
Gotta
in the
save it.
state.
Now, some of the hauntings here are believed to be previous like employees and
Actors, actresses.
Yeah, how does that work? What are we looking at?
So, according to legend, there are a couple that supposedly haunt the theater.
Okay.
Historically, they
The
include-
theater we're sitting in.
Yeah,
right
directly
now,
right
on
now
stage.
at almost 12 o'clock.
And now we're gonna talk about them right
Yeah,
now.
so I don't know really what's going to happen while we do
Okay.
this. But yeah, so the first one is a man named Mr. Gregg, Mr. Lee Gregg.
Okay.
he was a very dedicated Polk Theater employee in the 1930s and 40s.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, he was so dedicated to the theater, and just hearing from people, such a great guy.
No, this is going good.
Well, he would come in just to pull the curtain.
What?
Yeah. And according to legend, not legend, but like real story from when Elvis visited Lakeland, Elvis did like his, Mike Stun where he bent down and lip curl, all
Provocative.
that.
Yeah.
The gyrating like the lady probably
No,
in the
you
story.
just pull your dentures out. He'll go away.
The word of the episode
Yeah.
is gyrating.
Yeah.
But he, Mr. Gregg, he told Elvis like, hey, like don't do that again.
Jeez.
It's
Cut
not
it off,
okay to-
Elvis.
Yeah, he was just really, just dedicated to the theater. And we heard earlier too, when we were upstairs, the story about the Coke can or
Absolutely.
the Pepsi can.
Yeah.
Being knocked off the platter, the film platter.
What was fascinating is when we were giving the tour, he was telling us a story about how he came up there one night and put his drink.
Joe was,
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, where the film sits.
Where the
on
film
platter.
sits, and he turned away to do something else, and it flew across the room and hit the wall.
So perhaps that was Mr. Gregg telling him like,
highly
hey,
protective.
like don't do that. This is the theater,
This is
you know?
it, yeah.
Well, that and like all the stories you hear about, the specific hauntings, they almost have character.
Right.
They're related to the theater because, and it's always like, like you said, theater related. Like it was like Joe wasn't meaning to disrespect anything, but
No, yeah.
but it was, it was just kind of one of those things where, he believes that was as a direct result of that happening. Him putting that there. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I think that makes just the Polk Theater in itself just unique.
Yeah.
Even with these hauntings.
Yeah,
like
it's
aside.
unreal. This place is unreal.
I think towards the start of the tour, because the part we were just talking about was kind of upstairs in the balcony near the projector room. And so we're going to be posting a lot of this online on our social media accounts so you can kind of see behind the scenes. But there were certain areas that we couldn't film in. And a lot of those areas, they were kind of hot spots. And I would say like just as a
literal hot spots.
Yeah. As a natural skeptic, there were just certain rooms where you walk into it and you're like, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a different ambiance.
Yeah. And there's also just places where you feel like you step back in time.
Right.
Like
yeah,
honestly, like
absolutely.
you feel like you went
Definitely.
back 50 years and the place had never been touched in that 50 years.
And you're
it's just-
standing with a group of time travelers.
Yeah. Which in
we
itself
get
is
here?
just a weird feeling.
Yeah, well,
Definitely.
I think like progressively, there is this weird kind of, it's a mixture of like you're in awe of the history and the fact that you're standing in this, in this room that, is just way older than anybody that we know. You know what I mean? It's been around so long, but then at the same time, it's like now also like this, it's supposedly haunted, and so you're looking at all this, like you said, cool architecture, and then next thing you know, it's like, wait, did you guys hear that? And I think what's fascinating for me, anyways, is that like I know these guys, I've known them my whole life. We're not ghost people, like we don't really thrive on
We're
that kind
real
of
people. We're not ghosts.
yeah. Well, we don't really thrive on that kind of
Right
energy
for
or those
you.
stories.
No.
But like, I can honestly say like there were moments tonight where I was like, God, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I 100% heard and felt something move.
Oh, when you were at the blood gutter?
Yeah.
Down?
The blood
Yeah.
gutter
Blood gutter.
really
The
freaked
blood
me out.
drain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so there's a section we were at, and Cameron was standing next to me, and I heard something move thinking that it was Cameron, but then I realized he was standing still, and I was like, maybe that was my ears playing tricks on me, and then it happened again.
Yeah. It
And-
legitimately freaked
And
me out.
Cameron jumped, and here's what's crazy: Cameron is solid as a rock.
Oh,
so like,
muscles wise.
Is that a compliment?
well, it is because like if I always look to Cameron, like I can tell if stuff's about to go down
Yep.
based on how Cameron's reacting. So when Cameron goes, nope, and then starts moving away from the spot, immediately I'm like, I'm done with this.
Right.
Don't want to be in this room
Next
anymore.
room.
Yeah, next room. Let's go.
Yeah, that kind of freaked me out. That was a weird experience.
I mean, he's solid as rock, but shaky on his feet.
Yeah.
Which is a weird combination.
I think that room too is the spot where the supposed opera singer,
Yep.
there were experts that like ghost paranormal hunters, Joe was saying, came in and testing out the area, and they got a lot of vibes. Maybe
Nice
that
little
this
hot spot.
Yeah, this unnamed opera singer. She was a performer. She was addicted to opium, which is
Yeah. Who's not, though,
a
right?
depressant drug. It like slows down the body and the brain. And
Get 'em.
it said that she lost her. We should not be laughing.
I thought she was going to be addicted to ether, honestly.
Yeah,
Where they
period
spritz it
time,
in the thing.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but she
Relevant.
she lost her career, and she had a mental breakdown. And
Never worked again.
Yeah, she never worked again. She didn't die here, but her energy, they say, is kind of attached to this place. And
Which seems like that's the kind of the basis of the hauntings, like the Mr. Gregg. His
Yeah.
kind of energy of, hey, make this place right, make it run right, and don't treat it like crap.
Some of the workers have said that they have both heard singing when nobody else is in the building, which,
Right.
by the way, is like the scariest thing probably ever to imagine being in here alone.
I don't know what singing I would be for. Like, I know I would hate all singing, but if I had to choose one where I'd be like, okay,
be
that's
opera.
less creepy. No, I think all forms of music by myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
maybe Southern hip hop. I'd be like, okay, that's pretty cool. But anything else, especially woman singing, I'd be like, eh.
They also said that they had seen her standing in certain areas.
behind,
Yeah.
like near
Behind
the
the
curtain.
curtains,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think one of the craziest parts tonight for me was seeing the photo that they took.
Oh my goodness.
It was a while ago, but they took it, and it was of a beer can or a beer bottle. And when looking at it, you can see just this outline of a person. I mean, like almost like their body is turned,
I
their
didn't look
back
at
is
it.
to you.
And they gave us permission to post it. So we're gonna share that, and it's honest to God, like we tried to recreate it tonight, and so there's nothing in the hall, like in the walkway, that would obscure your vision or the photo. It's an empty hallway. But when you look at the photo of the beer bottle that they took a picture of, there's something standing in the hallway.
It's trippy.
It's not a column. It's not a chair. I mean, it's, and like I said, for me, I've seen stuff like this on TV or whatever, but then like, I think experiencing myself and standing there is just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I don't like that.
We got a believer.
Yeah.
I think too. I think the psychic also said that one might have been Mr. Johnny Milton, who was a Lakeland businessman. He developed like the Cleveland Heights Golf Course, which is pretty prominent place, and he was the one who planned the Polk Theater. But during the process when he was planning it, he had to borrow it was hard to borrow like big sums of money, and like in this Lakeland era of new construction boom and everything, he was actually forced to sell the uncompleted theater portion of his building.
Jeez.
So my theory, like, just he might hang around this place because he feels it's uncompleted, and maybe he feels like a little incomplete about it
He got
too.
gypped, basically.
He's like, sorry, I couldn't
Yeah.
pay for the roof.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There was a section we were talking about before we started recording that we all universally felt uneasy about. I know I said for me, it felt like there was a sense of urgency when we were down there.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of really kind of tight hallway.
Yeah,
that
we
led,
were all crammed in, and one way in, one way out.
Yeah, and it led to a space kind of under the seating.
Yep.
And so our host, the tour guide, he said he's done this tour like twice in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yeah, this thorough of a tour.
yeah, and he doesn't take people back there. And so we were back there, and he was kind of uneasy, and he was like, "Nah, I kind of want to leave. Let's
But
get
he
out
was
of
at
here."
the front of
but
the
he was in
line.
the front, so we had to turn around, squeeze our way back out. And while we were standing there, it's like I think everybody in the room, we were all on the same page. Like something's not right here. And so when we leave, we find out that years prior there was a fire that started back in that room. And so I don't know, like, everything about like that, there's the confirmation, like getting the confirmation afterwards, like not being fed anything going into it, but then going into the space and unanimously feeling something, and then finding out afterwards that, hey, no, this something happened here.
Bingo.
I was wondering why it smelled smoky in there.
I was smoking a American Spirit cigarette.
Well,
so.
what's interesting too, we found out later on in the tour that Mr. Lee Gregg, he smoked cigars. So maybe there's a correlation even between that smell of the smoke and
Nice.
That provides cover for Josh's black and mild addiction.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not
You're
an
not
addiction. I can quit anytime.
Okay.
So
The cigarettes or the opium?
everything in between.
Everything.
But no, there have been a lot of like strange occurrences that have happened. Just a few of them include like during children's shows, you can see shadows in the dark.
Ooh, don't like that.
Don't like that.
The pipe organ will sometimes play itself.
I don't like that.
As we talked about earlier, you can hear a person singing on occasion.
Nope.
There's a strange feeling, and I think we all got this too.
What did you just say about the person singing? That Cameron, when we were upstairs, remember?
Oh, you were asking me what the
Where the
sounded
music
like
was coming
music?
from.
Yeah.
We were upstairs.
No.
No joke. We were upstairs in the
I didn't
upstairs
hear
foyer, and I said to him, "Who's got music on?" And we both kind of stopped and listened. And he's like, "Well, it sounds like a hum right now," but that was the weirdest thing.
I heard that too. I thought you had you didn't have anything.
No,
out
it
on
was
you?
to me. It was a very
What?
clear melody.
Wow.
As an
Sounded like
expert musician,
What?
I was
Yes.
like, definitely heard melody.
You know me, I'm tone deaf. I didn't hear nothing up there.
But no, that was fascinating.
What?
I missed the part about the people
Yeah.
here singing here. That's
You can hear singing up there.
yeah, I don't like that at all.
And speaking of like going up there too, people just feel that uneasiness, like in the stairways, going through
Right.
the hallways is unnerving.
Yep.
Things have been seen to float around too. And I think when we were in that like back skinny like room back there that we walked through, we all kind of took our phones out, to see if we
Yeah.
could see anything. I know personally, and I think you saw
Yeah,
this
I
too,
saw
right,
it.
Wayne?
Yeah, on your phone.
Yeah, you could just see like things moving. And yeah, perhaps they could be dust particles, but when you click to take the picture, they're not even in the picture after that.
Yes.
Yeah,
You'd
that was
think
weird.
dust would settle after so long. but-
Well, you could kind of look with the flash on and see stuff moving, but then,
Right.
like Kaylee said, the moment the picture was taken, even with the flash on, it wouldn't capture it. But you could see it through the lens.
Maybe they're camera shy.
Before the phone, it could be. They're having a bad hair day.
Amen.
The most unnerving thing, Joe, when he was giving the tour, said that whenever you're closing up the building and you have to shut all the lights off, he said the
They're not at the entrance.
yeah, well, the unwritten rule is you don't look behind you.
Don't like
As you're
that.
doing it, you just
You
move.
sprint.
You move forward. You turn the lights off as you go, and then you walk out of the building. You never look behind you. And for me, like I'm like, no, like if you're gonna jump on me, I want to see you coming.
Yeah. Whoever started that
No
rule.
surprise.
I've always said that.
Yep. I want to see you jump on me.
That's it. So
Yeah, I mean, there were a few very specific stories too that Joe told as well, like about there was the theater's first house manager who used to be a music teacher. She was singing to herself once and heard a shush like in her ear.
I get that all the
no,
time.
I don't like that.
Yeah, and if you think that is eerie, you should. There's another one too where one person who worked in the theater said they once heard someone say hello directly in their ear. So
Don't like that either.
No.
very close to
What would
the
you
ear.
rather have? A shush or a hello?
I feel like a hello is a little more friendly.
Yeah.
I'm more used to the shush. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get shushed all the time.
Yeah, I
is
would
true.
I would take the hello. I think coming into it, there were parts of me that was kind of like, I don't know, because I am a skeptic. It was just like, oh, this is gonna be neat. It's historic. But there was a definite shift, I think, halfway through the tour, where it was like, okay, like this is kind of special. And as we're sitting now on the stage, we're looking out kind of.
Well, 3 out of 4.
Yeah, out onto where the audience sits, and up in the balcony, there's these 2 closets, like in the very, very, very back, and it's way up there at the very top.
Looks cool.
And when we were up there in that portion of the tour, we were there. People that were on the tour with us could hear like scratching and moving from those closets up there, and so we go up there to kind of look and see what's in the closet,
Which is the biggest mistake.
Yeah,
Go
and-
towards the creepy
Yes.
noise.
yeah. And Joe goes, "Why are the lights on in there?"
Oh.
Didn't
And
like hearing that.
no, exactly. And so like all of
No.
us were like, okay, well, let's go back downstairs where there's lights are supposed to be on.
Yeah, purposed.
Yeah, and there were areas where, the guy that was giving us the tour he's worked here for years
10.
and he still won't even unlock the doors. Like he won't go into those
yeah.
rooms. So
We don't go in there.
we tried to
Yeah.
get Josh to go in there, but
I couldn't fit.
We couldn't get Josh in there. Yeah. By the way, since he brought it up,
What?
There's lots of times where I felt uncomfortable physically because like the doors are smaller, the seats are small, and I'm like, this is like, why do I feel so
they're
big?
super thick doors.
He's like, well, in the 20s, everybody was smaller, and I just feel uncomfortable
Not
now.
me. I mean,
I'm a little self conscious.
all the stairs that we walked up, no wonder everybody's thinner.
Yeah,
They gotta
that's
hoof
true.
it.
What's one of my favorite parts? It's actually not really that spooky. Was early on in the tour we found out that Elvis Presley like signed the
Yeah.
wall in one of the dressing rooms, which is absolutely incredible. And there's just been so many like amazing acts that have come through here. I mean, this is like a huge piece of
Yeah,
you know,
when you sign a wall, that's a whole nother level of confidence.
yeah, exactly.
They
Most
had
things
a-
I sign are temporary paper documents.
They had a huge band in, I think it was like 2006, come through. I was the lead singer.
Okay.
I knew he was going to bring this up.
in ninth grade. So I'm pretty
Congrats.
sure I signed the wall.
Right next to
Right next to Elvis.
right next to Elvis.
Yeah.
They put some glass over it so it would.
They moved your signature
Preserved.
next to Elvis's. It wasn't in the same room.
I signed over Elvis.
I'll be honest, like that part of the tour was probably the creepiest for me. Just those long hallways going up.
Dressing rooms.
Yeah, just all through there. It
Absolutely.
was just a vibe. And then you saw the mirrors in there too.
Didn't like that.
That made me uncomfortable
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
just traditionally, maybe it's just from popular culture, but when there's mirrors, you expect to see something spooky because it's been such a trope in in movies. But that whole hallway with the dressing room is like nothing but mirrors.
Yeah.
So like everywhere you go, it's like don't want to look in that.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
you
Didn't
know
somebody
me.
look too at one point, like an employee here they were mentioning, and they didn't see their reflection?
No.
Yeah, they were down in the basement. It was a random room. It has a mirror in the corner, and they said that when they opened the door and glanced, there was no reflection in the mirror. Hello. Yeah, right.
No. And you know me, I'm so passive. I don't look in the mirror because I don't like the eye contact with
Yeah.
myself. So I also didn't look in the mirror.
Scariest thing.
Yeah, it's so intimidating. I'm like, okay, jerk. Jeez.
So the entire time that I've been sitting here and listening to you talk, I'm looking past Josh because there's like definite movement back there.
Well, it's literally
But-
the worst experience watching Wayne react behind my
Yeah.
back the
Well,
whole time.
I'm just. What's fascinating is the employees are all sitting here in the front row.
I didn't know that.
And there's no one back there, and it's happened twice now. And I've had to look over and check and do a head count, make sure everybody's still there. It's just fascinating because, and I know it's probably creeping you out.
Well, just your big old eyes.
I
looking
know.
Past
I'm
me.
looking
Your
past
back is
Josh
to
and going
everything.
like,
Yeah.
what is going on back there? That is the honest to God, the strangest thing. But
Is it just are you saying just
Your
like a
periph.
light?
Are you seeing something in your
no,
periph?
Periph, the abbreviation.
in the front of house booth, like 100% something's moving back there. Not like currently, but I'm saying like while you were talking, I felt distracted. If you when you listen to the episode, you hear long pauses in me speaking. It's because I'm staring back there.
I mean, we got
Jeez.
we got
Okay, good. That was good. That got us.
Yeah. Well, it's been a fun episode. We've had a lot of
Time
fun.
to get going.
It's time
Yeah.
to pack up in here, but we do appreciate you guys tuning in to this kind of like a bonus material that we have.
You have to come down here and see this place.
It's
Yeah.
It's
absolutely
extraordinary.
a
shows every
necessity.
week, every day. I don't even
They
know.
have live
Just-
concerts and they show movies.
And
like
classic
every weekend.
movies.
Yeah.
some of them
which
are
is
free
fascinating.
too. I mean, it's really a place for everybody.
There's a
for
free
every type of
documentary
thing.
tomorrow.
I saw
Yeah.
the Mr. Rogers one here a couple months ago. Tears.
You weeped, right?
I did,
Yeah.
obviously.
I'm not sure that
You
I'm
can't
going
not
to
weep.
ever feel the same way coming in here.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
Not
Right
at
now.
I'm going to
Hearing
be
all of
that
this.
guy when I bring my friends here being like, I saw a ghost there. I saw a ghost back there. I heard a ghost over
But it's
there.
I
always
was
been a
uncomfortable for
welcoming.
2 hours on the tour.
But no, we love you guys. We appreciate you tuning in. We are incredibly grateful for Polk Theater
Yes.
for allowing us to have
Absolutely.
the
Yeah,
access.
amazing.
Just
Yes.
honored the entire time. We're incredibly grateful for.
I mean, you could tell his passion given the tour.
Joe's, yeah.
And that's what I was pumped about. You know, when he first started, I was like, he digs it.
Yeah.
That means I'm going to
It's
dig
A
contagious.
fountain of knowledge,
Right.
honestly.
it's
It is
contagious.
unreal.
But we also appreciate LAL and Kaylee.
Yes.
Everything you guys do. And we appreciate working with you again. And we appreciate all the listeners listening to us talk about our scary experiences and
It
just,
was.
kind of hanging out and participating with us tonight. So we love you. And we'll see you around.
See you.
Sounds good.